Hey Ken, so these are some things that I was wanting to talk to you about maybe in January to set up a meeting, but we're kind of meeting to death. So I thought that I would just send you this video so you can watch this and process it and figure out if you think any of these things carry weight or some of these things you already may be going in a specific direction that would knock these things out. And so you can watch this, think about it, and then if you want to carry on these conversations, that'd be cool. We can set up a time in January to meet, or we can talk about it in senior staff or Monday meetings, whatever works best. So in Kids Men, we have four experiences: fun, connection, learning, and worship. And so those are experiences that we want every kid to experience on Sundays and Wednesdays. And so we design our time together based around those experiences. And I was wondering, would it be worth creating experiences, target points that would help us in planning for adults on Sundays and Wednesdays? So, and here's a sample. And so it could be maybe fun, reverence, reflection, and community. So every time we meet, we want adults to experience fun, reverence, reflection, community. And so, and this could even be in the order of most services, not all. But like we always start out with fun. So on Sundays, it's a hype game. It's some kind of fun interview. It's a giveaway. It's just something fun, whatever it is. It could be a goofy video or a little skit or something. And then we can go into some really hype worship. From there, the transition from fun to reverence is offering, and we throw out announcements all together. We just tell them during this segment, look in your brochure or your handout. Look online or look on the app for all announcements or your Wednesday emails. And so so then we do offering, and then we start in with worship that is more dialed back, intimate, and then we carry on reverence into Ronnie's message. And then Ronnie always leads us to a place of, this is what I want you to reflect on for this week. So here's your reflections for the week. And so that's how we get them to reflect on God's word and on His message, and then community, like the cookies and hot chocolate and all that kind of stuff that we're doing on Wednesday nights. If we were following this plan, that would have definitely fell into the community aspect. On a Sunday morning, it could be food trucks and table setup where people can eat after service. That would be like, oh, that's a community piece. It could be as simple as a challenge from Ronnie. Hey, here's some questions we're going to pull up on the screen. When you read these questions, I want you to find somebody that you do not know, and I want you to ask them these three questions. Or your challenge today as you're heading out is I want you to meet one new person. So it could be some fun stuff that we set up in the hallways in the round of Abbott's house. Little stations where people can choose to interact, and it causes people to interact with each other. Fun, reverence, reflection, community. So that's just something to think about, the four experiences for adults. As far as stage dynamics, I was wondering, since our stage is totally exposed, if we could create some backstage, like some partitions on stage that create a backstage. And so I don't know, even like, I don't know with some of those side doors in the back, like if it would be a big no-no to even kind of extend out some kind of a partition that completely blocks people where they can come in and out. That way kids can come in and then come out the center portion. You don't see them until we want you to see them. But having two wings of backstage partition set up we could come up with some cool stuff. And anyways, and it's something that could be simple that we could move out of the way when need be. The other thing that I was thinking about with like where we place worship leaders is, what if we kind of had three tiers? Of course, you got choir here, and then maybe you have some singers that don't have much of a presence. There's one lady, I always forget her name, but her vocals are amazing, but she can be kind of a little awkward on stage. Whereas like, Jay or Sam, they've got the motions and the presence, and you like know how to move. Alyssa, some of those people. Heath kind of has that presence. So what if we had choir, and then if you have the chops vocally, there's a spot for you back here, and then for those who have the vocals and the presence, which would limit it down to maybe two people, like they're the front people, and I was just thinking about maybe some different tiers. That way our front people have the kind of presence that you have, and we can work with these people to help train them to improve, to have a greater presence in the front here. The last thing is, is there a way that we could talk to leadership about pulling in Brian Hall part-time? Number one, to build up a team of musicians. I know he was doing that thing with other churches, creating networks with other musicians, which I thought was awesome. But even just musicians out in the community that we could pull in and have bring in some new musicians and everything, on top of the awesome ones that we already have, just to continue building it up. But what if he was brought in part-time for that to be his focus, and then also to create a team of songwriters, it's structured, and it's once a month or twice a month they meet, and like we are pumping out some material, and then all the while too that you're investing in Brian during that time. Maybe that's a 6 month to a year part-time gig, and we're also investing in him to develop him as a leader too. And so that one day he can be on staff potentially as one of our worship pastors. But yeah, so that's really it. I'm so sorry. It's just a lot of stuff, and some of it is probably a no-no, and there's no way to work out. And maybe there's some stuff here that we could kind of sink our teeth into, at least talk about, maybe as senior staff. Thank you so much for your time. See you.